But it's my pleasure right now to introduce from Class 13. They started in October of 2019. They've been with us for exactly a year. And Vince actually is presenting from Denver, Colorado, where he resides, but he has a distributed team, and the virtual world works real well for our next company, Auxxit. Vince, take it away.
Thanks to the entire Preccelerator family. I mean, ever since we've joined the program, it's just been a terrific resource for us. So I'm Vince Arena, the CEO of Auxxit, and we also have our co-founders, Steve and Katrina, our CTO, and Laura Murtaugh, she's our EVP and General Counsel, with us on the call. And I'm going to be talking about using the power of online communities to re-envision how mobile marketplaces work. And for a little bit of reference, our prototype has been in the market since May, and we're excited to be going with a full version release next month. So Auxxit enables anyone to operate their own unique mobile marketplace. We've taken the social network structure of online communities and blended it together with marketplace tools so people who share a common interest have one place to go to discuss, buy, and sell the things they are passionate about. And community is also behind our key differentiator, which is real-time shared experiences. Both the real-time discussions and the highly interactive buying and selling tools are designed to be entertaining content. This keeps a targeted, topic-specific audience engaged and ready to buy. So our early adopters have primarily been small businesses who have sell topic-related merchandise and have some type of pre-existing social media audience. As an example, we have a tabletop gaming store that also has been selling online for over 20 years and has about a 5,000 member Facebook community. They've been able to increase their online sales by 30% by running a few commerce events each month, which add an incremental $2,500 to sales. And they've never used social networking to directly sell before, and they're telling us that this is absolutely now a part of their long-term strategy. So we are an online sales tool, and for most small sellers, the two methods to be in the game here are either websites or large marketplace platforms. Both are becoming increasingly challenging as everything moves to online. Building websites can be time-consuming and expensive, and it still requires ongoing investment to get that audience awareness. And on top of that, end users today are seeking app-based experiences, and this whole web browsing and website structure is becoming dated. The other option is to use a large traditional marketplace platform and build a storefront, but most sellers can't compete with the established players on these tools already who have invested time and paid big premiums to get the best exposure on the platforms. So social networks have kind of actually provided this partial solution for some really creative sellers that have the time and energy to directly sell items by manually typing in their conversation feeds. This is where our concept kind of has its roots, but for most small businesses, the manual processes involved are just too cumbersome. So that's Auxxit's initial opportunity. We know small businesses have a need, and we have this vision. We're confident that it won't be long until everyone on this call will be making purchases directly through chat interactions for some of the things that they buy, if you're not doing that already. And we saw this coming early because we have significant expertise of our own, both selling on these marketplace tools and in social formats, while our day jobs are building scalable communications tech. So we started building new ways to sell, like direct listings in a chat feed and live auction events where everybody can interact in real time together. And our platform allows us to continue to add innovative new selling tools that really nobody's ever seen before. The the historical industry leader in interest-based selling or items of interest is eBay. eBay alone, the merchandise that they sell on their platform that relates to our categories that we target represents over $3 billion of annual transaction fees. That's just the fees. But of course, eBay has no community tools whatsoever, and they have no way to really pivot into what we're up to. So what we're doing is we're taking the way that all of us, in particular in the kind of the crazy times we live in today, are increasingly communicating, which is an always-on group chat format. And we're kind of following the same thing that's happened where Slack has done this for work groups and Discord has done this for gamers, and we're taking the same model and applying it to the markets. So we've kind of fit in between these two platform solutions, and we feel we've got a defensible position because of the inherent nature of how these things work. Commerce tools are built for single user experiences. Search and filter, you get in there, they're expecting a one person look at a ton of things kind of effort. While community tools, they're really built for casual use. They're not structured. And when people are doing transactions, they want structure, they want to feel protected. And it's really hard for these big community platforms to do this. Even the Facebook tools that allow you to sell are really designed for just individual one-off sellers. I'm going to take a second, kind of show you what our tech looks like. Really, I'm just going to focus you on the center slide. Here you have a live auction. People are able to watch and see everybody bidding. They can chat. The scroll on top runs whenever there's a live event running. You can see the merchandise running across. It's a very fun and interactive experience. And the way we make money on all this is they take a fee. It's pretty similar to eBay. The twist with us is, so we're successful when the seller's successful, but we reinvest a quarter of that fee back into the community by giving commissions to the moderators and influencers who both help bring people in and keep them engaged with discussions and organizing community events and things like that. So we kind of have this cyclical ecosystem. And the way our community economics work is we try to get to around $1,000 a week per community, and that'll generate around $300 a month of selling fees for us. And we're not going to get into a detailed breakdown of our model, but it takes about 100 communities for us to break even in our current organization structure, and it rapidly increases in profitability once we get to that level and start expanding. So how are we going to get that first 100 is we're going to target the people who targeted us. These our early adopters came to us because they saw what we were doing. These small businesses, they have storefronts and they sell merchandise that is interest-based. And what we've done is we've looked at 6 specific categories in 3 geographic markets where we can be close by. And we've already identified over 500 businesses that have significant online audiences on Facebook or Reddit that we can tap. And our pitch is pretty simple. All we're telling them is, hey, you guys know that this is going on because they do. We've made tools to make this simple for you to do. And with that, we're going to try to get to our first 100 or plus communities. And we believe that the mechanisms for growth for us will eventually become automation and being able to go after the hundreds of thousands of influencers and moderators who have communities that a lot of them are interested in buying and selling topic-related items and having them come on our platform. So we've been up to this for about 2.5 years now. The first year we ran some proof of concept where by hand we were able to use a chat app to generate $5,000 to $10,000 a day in selling between community members for a niche trading card community. And we decimated eBay when we did that. That was enough for us to believe this is what we were going to do. We went out and built a development team. That team has invested 18 months into the prototype, and now we can build kind of major features in months. We can build minor features in weeks. And our existing prototype that's just kind of been sitting there as we build version 1.0 has sold over 1,300 items with the communities that are using it right now. And we have 3 of those communities that have done over $250 in fees for us on a monthly basis. Our team is pretty diverse. 4 of us worked together in prior company that we sold to Zayo, a large telco. It was a VoIP platform. We have Steve, our CTO, who's actually really well versed in power selling on eBay and has built a huge YouTube following. So he really intimately understands the tech he's building, what it's supposed to be doing. And in May, we added Paul Guerin as a board member and EVP of sales and business development. And Paul has been CEO of several very important companies in the tech space. And he was also the CEO of Jabber, which is really the first company to commercialize chat and became part of WebEx. And then Nicole, who's an expert in helping startups get their products to market. So to date, we've raised $400,000. This year, initially we raised money from our team and some of our family members. This year we did about $150,000 in 2 closes from kind of led by professional angels. We burn around $12,000 a month, which gives us runway until the second quarter. We're definitely still talking to interested angels today, if any of them on here are interested in this story. But our target is to get to a $1.5 million capital raise in the second quarter of next year. So that's Auxxit. Thanks for taking the time to listen about what we're up to, and we're happy to take questions.
Thanks, Vince. Great job. And right on time.
That's what matters, Len. I got it down.
You did a great job. Any questions for Vince and Auxxit? Please use the chat. That will be the easiest way for us to take the questions.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Anybody?
And Jonathan, I'll give a shout out while we're on the screen. I mean, Jonathan's a mentor through the Preccelerator, and he's not only a mentor, but a partner to our business and helped us with our go-to-market thinking, and I'm sure will help us a lot in the future.
So I guess I'll ask a question because I thought it was a good question to ask that was asked of our first company. And that question is, Vince, what has been your biggest challenge and how have you overcome it?
Our biggest challenge is that we are really doing, we're not trying to make something better, we're doing something completely different. And, you know, learning how to educate all the different people, all the different players in this ecosystem about what we're doing quickly is definitely the hardest thing that we've dealt with the whole way, from getting the resources to do this, getting users to adopt it. That's it. Like understanding how to quickly tell them what the heck we are doing and why it's important. And that is, it's hard because you have very different audiences, very different things you have to say to them to get to them in the same place. So.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, wait a second, let's see. I thought I saw something come up. So from Brian McMahon over at Expert Dojo, he's asking, can you go deeper into your projections and market expansion plan?
Sure. I mean, right now our plan is to do a direct sell. So we are going to use phone calls and soft lists. We've got experts who basically take the list we build and get on the phone with as many people as they can and hand us warm leads that already understand what we're up to. And then we have this whole set of documentation, website support, and administrative tools. But that's how we're going to be doing this probably for the next year. And I know a lot of people are going to look at that and go, well, that's not scalable. And we're okay with that. We expect that this concept is something that will eventually catch. So Brian, if I've answered your question, that's how it's going to be a very granular direct selling process. And, you know, we're prepared and kind of ready to go do that for the next 12 months.
Thanks, thanks, Vince. Let's see. Asher Leeds asked, why have you and your team decided to do this? What was the impetus to make this happen?
Because we're nuts. That's why. No, the impetus was, you know, we were like Steven and I have always been. We sold our last company and we had some extra time to get back into our hobbies, and we saw what we both. He does custom car parts, I do trading cards, and we both saw the same thing. It's like people were trying to get away from these big marketplaces using social media, but it was so clunky, and we just knew we could do that better. That this was where the people who were trying to do this, they couldn't build a communications platform. That's what we do. We built multiple of them. So that's why we saw the opportunity. We believe this is absolutely something that's going to become mainstream, and that we can be an early mover in this space.
Thanks, Vince. Last question. Scott, you had a long, involved question that I don't want to read, so I'm going to let you ask the question.
Okay. Vince, I was just thinking, you know, I've loved this from the beginning because I was intimately involved with Skype from its inception sale to eBay. And I remember being in a conversation with Meg Whitman when they bought Skype, and she said, eBay is fundamentally about communication between buyers and sellers, and that's why we're willing to buy Skype and pay a lot of money for it. And so they did, and then they divested it 4 years later because they just couldn't make communication between buyer and seller work. So why does your platform do that, and why is it so much better?
Well, that's a great question, and you know, I would go straight to WebSockets and the same technology that's being leveraged by Slack and Discord. You know, WhatsApp. You know, you can look at them as well. They have a little bit of a different tech. How do you make 1,000 devices and 1,000 people experience the same thing at the same time so that they can all share it? Because just like this call, we can be here in real time and it's really has a lot more emotional connection, or we can watch a recording of it tomorrow and I guarantee you it's 10% as emotional experience. So the technology that exists today, Scott, is way beyond, can I get the word hello back and forth between you and I? It's presence technology. It's watching some, oh, this person's typing and you see this activity happen. All of that is happening in real time. So the communications tech of today is incredibly powerful when you optimize it and organize it efficiently. So I think that's a big difference.